I'm proud to call on our next speaker, Howard Nations, who I assume many of you know. He's a former leader of this association, served on the executive committee as an officer from 1990 through 1995. He is board certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization as both a personal injury trial lawyer and civil trial lawyer. He is board certified on the national level as a civil trial advocate by the National Board of Trial Advocates and is certified as a diplomat of trial advocacy by the National College of Advocacy. I've seen Howard lecture for years. He's a wonderful speaker and probably needs very little other introduction. So with that, I'm going to turn the podium over to Howard.
Good morning. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about Broadspire and about the relationship that we have with Broadspire vis-a-vis our potential clients as well as our client base. There are a lot of people out there that are being misled by Broadspire into believing that they do not need an attorney. So I want to go through what Broadspire is telling them, what they're seeing from Broadspire, and see what some of our responses to that probably should be. The reimbursement program and the consent forms, details regarding how DePuy uses the reimbursement program to its advantage. We have to know how to counter what they're telling the potential clients because they are misleading them gravely, as well as clients. So I want to talk about that and the plaintiff's response to the reimbursement program. DePuy offers, they come in and give the impression, and I hear it over and over talking to prospective clients, well, why do I need a lawyer if DePuy is going to pay, I've got a bad hip, they're going to replace it with a good hip, no harm, no foul, a lot of trouble, but why do I need a lawyer and pay a fee on that if they're going to do this? So we need to understand exactly what they are doing. Reasonable and customary cost, treatment for services, monitoring device, their revision surgeries associated with the ASR devices reimburse only out-of-pocket expenses. Now, but what they're really doing, as you know, is they're paying the difference between insurance. They're paying pennies on the dollar. They're paying the difference between what your insurance will pay. They'll pay your out-of-pocket expenses and so forth. But here's the point. And what we tell our clients and what we tell our prospective clients is that the damage in this case, what you're facing is not just a simple hip replacement. This is not about you taking out one device, putting in another device, and all's right with the world. In order to counter what Broadspire is telling our clients and our prospective clients, I tell them, particularly prospective clients, when I'm trying to sign them up and they're saying, well, but Broadspire is taking care of everything. Why do I need you? You tell them this. First of all, I like to show prospective clients that I understand what their problem is. So I'll talk to them very differently than Broadspire does. Broadspire will come in and say, well, you need a new device, or you need surgery, or you need testing, or you need this, and we're going to pay for it, so fine, no problem. Sign the form. Sign the form. Every third sentence is sign the form. And I've had clients tell me, oh, no, all they want me to do is sign the form. Okay, so what we do instead is we talk to them in such a way that they see that we understand their problem. I talk to them about the damages that they're having, and I talk to them in terms of what symptoms are you having? Has the pain in the hip area, has it reached the groin yet? Are you having pain in the back? Are you having pain on the opposite side? If you have a right side hip implant, are you having pain on the left side? Are you having pain in the left knee? Because the major damage here, a major damage item that's going to arise out of this is going to be the biomechanical consequences, the offset of what happens when you have an injury on one side and you start giving on that side, and then you end up with more and more wear and tear on the other side. And when you talk to clients in those terms, or prospective clients in those terms, and the response is, well, yes, as a matter of fact, I do have that. Well, yes, I do have that. And then you can ask, well, what is your doctor telling you about? Are they saying that it's arthritis? Are they saying it's bursitis? Or what other itis are they saying it is? And you're the person, you become the person who really, that they identify, you can identify yourself as understanding their problem, because those are the problems that they're having. Then ask them, are you getting the clicking yet? Do you hear the clicking noise yet? Do you feel looseness? Has anybody explained to you what's causing this? And then I like to go into an explanation with them, something Broadspire does not do, about trying to allay some of their fears about all the foolishness they read on the internet about they're going to wake up with cancer tomorrow morning. So I think it's important that we make them understand this point. We're not suing your doctor. If you retain us, this is not about the doctors. As a matter of fact, Depew is claiming this is the fault of the doctors. We're on the same side with the doctors. We are saying we have experts who are prepared to explain that this is not the fault of the doctors, it's the fault of the design. And so that takes the fear out of a lot of them right there, because they don't want to get crosswise with their doctors. Then you have to explain. This is a very important point that you have to explain to them to get them out of the hands of Depew. Out of the hands of Broadspire. And that is, it is absolutely essential that you have an attorney before you have revision surgery. And the reason is because, of course, of the access and control of the explanted device and the tissue and so forth that go with it. So they're asked to sign a consent form and obtain a claim number, and which allows them direct contact. They contact the clients directly. They obtain medical records. And then in this regard, I explained to them very simply this, and it's a fact. Any of you who are in ortho ever, or who've ever had cases with our defense counsel in this case, they do an absolutely excellent job. Bob Tucker is one of the most detail-oriented lawyers I've ever had on the other side of a case from me. And what they're doing, and your potential clients have to understand this, what Broadspire is doing with your medical records is not seeing what's wrong with you now or what they can do to help you, obviously. What they're doing is they're building a defense. They're starting to build a defense to your case right now, so that if you ever do come in and make a bigger claim, they will be able to show, no, this was some previous trauma, no, you've had back problems this whole time, no, you've had hip problems this whole time, you had the original hip trauma that caused you to have the implant in the first place. And trust me, for your own advice as the attorneys handling these cases, you better know these files backwards and forwards. You better know these medical records of these clients backwards and forwards and thoroughly, because I promise you, Bob Tucker will know it. That this is Bob's real forte. He has an excellent staff of nurse paralegals who go through in great detail. They make reports to him, and when you come to sit down with Bob to negotiate these cases, he will know as much about your client's medical past as you do, and he'll have it very slanted in his direction. So you explain to clients or potential clients, this is why you absolutely do not want to let them have access to your medical records. And I always make the point that Broadspire is not just trying to get your medical records. They're not asking for an authorization to get your medical record for this surgery or for this case. They want to get your entire medical history. That quite often will put a stop to them wanting to work with Broadspire very much.